You ever just feel sad for no reason? I don't mean like crying, like bawling your eyes out sad. I mean like just sad. Nothing's really wrong, but everything feels like heavier for some reason. People say like, oh, that's just life, but what if it's not? What if the sadness isn't just random? And what if you could fight it like it's a boss from Dark Souls? I'm gonna tell you how I get over this feeling of sadness for no reason, and I'm gonna explain it with Dark Souls. I hear all the time from people in real life and on social media like, sometimes you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Every day can't be a happy day. Life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Statistically, there will be a top, middle, and bottom range for the goodness of your days over the span of like an amount of time. Over the course of 30 days, there will be 10% really good days. 80% of them will just be like somewhere in the middle, like meh, okay. And then 10% will be like at the bottom, like the bad days. But I want to tell you that that's just not true. Like, okay, sometimes you wake up and you just don't feel right, or something bad happens and you feel bad because something bad happened, right? But what does that mean to you? Does that mean that the trend for the whole rest of the day is set just because you had one bad moment? The whole day is gonna be bad. The whole day's ruined because I woke up feeling not nice. I don't think that's right, and I know it's not right because I've proved it wrong before. You cannot let a single part become the whole. If you've ever played Dark Souls, or you've heard of Dark Souls, you know that the game is about fighting the bosses. You fight the boss to beat the boss. Imagine you're fighting this one boss called Slave Knight Gale, and you've memorized his moveset, you've been fighting him, you've been trying at him for a while, you're getting closer and closer each time. You've already done this dance with him a million times before, like you do the beginning part and you know which parts to dodge, you know when to do what, and then all of a sudden, he gets a hit on you. Like at one of the parts that you should have been able to dodge, One of the parts that you've memorized, he got a hit on you. All of a sudden, oh, do I know anything anymore? My brain, like, do I know anything? And then it kind of throws you off, and then you kind of start to like sweat more, like all of a sudden shit just got real, like what's going on now? But do you let it affect the entire attempt? I know for some games, like if you mess up a small little part, you can easily just like restart the game. But with Dark Souls, if you restart the boss, you need to restart the boss, you need to wait for the loading screen, you need to run back to him, right? And that just takes too long. And then you need to get back to the part that you were at in the boss fight, right? So it's like, even though a little part of it got messed up, you don't just quit out of it right then and there, right? You keep trying. You get hit, sure, whatever, but you keep doing the little dance and you keep fighting him until you win, The game is trying to win even though it's so terribly hard. But what I'm trying to say is like, if you get hit one time, are you gonna let that defeat you before you've actually been defeated? If you wake up feeling not nice, will you let that affect the entire run for the entire rest of the day? Is the whole day gone and ruined because you didn't wake up at the time that you wanted to, or when you woke up, you didn't poop in the morning like you always do? So is the day ruined now? The day's ruined now. Okay. You can memorize and prepare all you want to fight a boss, but still they'll manage to get a hit on you somehow. Even when you've memorized every single move, they'll still manage to get a hit on you just because the game felt like doing that, Something I've learned about life is like, you can go through your day without anything going particularly wrong, and it still feels hard. It's hard enough on its own when nothing is going wrong. But then you go and mess something up. You get hit one time in your usual dance, and then it's like everything is 10 times worse all of a sudden, and everything is like totally ruined somehow. Even when you think you know everything, even when you've done this 100 times before, 1,000 times before, you still mess it up. There's still ways to mess it up. You've lived alive on this earth for how many days? Still somehow the things that you thought you'd overcome already come back to bite you in like new ways. So now I want to give you the solution to this problem. Just to recap, the problem is feeling sad for no reason, right? And nothing has to go particularly wrong in order for the day to go bad. It's just the smallest little things. Even just stuff that we've dealt with before comes back to bite us. And we feel sad for like no reason, right? It's just small little things. We feel sad for no reason. So now, for the solution, if you can find something that you enjoy and you stick doing that thing every day and you make progress in that thing every day, you will feel less sad because you have less time to be sad because you're so busy. And this could be separate from working out, or it could be working out, this thing that you enjoy doing. Because working out, like exercise, it improves mental health. It just does. There have been so many times where I felt like I was having like a bad day, and then because I didn't feel like I was doing enough or whatever. And then I did some exercise, and then all of a sudden, those same problems were in my mind, but they just didn't affect me anymore. You know, it's the weirdest thing that exercise can make you feel nonchalant. I don't know if it's because now I like accomplished something that day where I felt like I wasn't doing much, or just because working out helps with mental health, you know? It just makes you more relaxed after. It's good for your body, it's good for your mind. And being tired and like breathless kind of puts you in like a social flow state. Like, you know how people say, like, you know, you hear it in movies or whatever, like, I need a couple drinks in me before we do this. It's because it's like alcohol is like a social lubricant. The same is true for working out though. Like, for real, working out is like alcohol if you use it for the social flow state aspect. And that's a piece of advice I wish I knew when I was like in middle school, high school age, you know? I didn't know that it could make me feel so like nonchalant and free after I worked out. Having a workout before school would have made me feel like so much more accomplished and confident when I then went to school later in the day. I just imagine myself like if I was in middle school or high school, if I had done a workout or done a deep work session on something important to me before school, I would have felt so much more like accomplished and like I did something productive before going to school. So that way when I go to school, I feel like chill and like I already did enough today. I did something good already. So the rest of the day is just chill and fun and like whatever, easy going. And I know that it's true because that's what I've been doing in college now. And I've noticed a difference. I've noticed that I'm more socially adept. You know, I'm more flowing in social and I don't overthink stuff and I'm not shy. I was shy before, but now I don't mind anything. I think you can do either of these two things to increase your good feeling inside of you, you know? Working out and doing a deep work session. You can do either one. However, I think that working out does act as the better social lubricant, you know? It makes you more social, I think. For me, it does anyway. Now, you have two things that you can use at your disposal now. Working out and doing a deep work session. You have to kind of choose carefully, especially if you're like a teenager at school or even, you know, a college student or in the workforce already. Like, it kind of is tough if your schedule doesn't align with it, you know? Which one do you choose if you have to go to work? If you can only choose one, then if you do your deep work session before going to work, then you are being productive and you do kind of get like the social lubricant aspect of it, but then you're not working on your body and you're not feeling healthy in your body so much, right? But you still did a good work and you still made progress toward your goal. However, if you choose to work out instead, it's like, okay, well, you worked on your body, but did you really do anything productive today? So it's like you kind of have to pick and choose sometimes. My solution and what I've been doing is I've chosen to do my deep work session before I do a workout. I chose to prioritize my work over my working out time and my body progress goals, because I've decided in my own head that that is the priority. Deep work and working towards my goals and trying to become financially free and provide for my family, that is the more important thing, more than working out. And so I do that first, and I make progress there first, and then I set goals for myself so I know when I can stop, and then that is when I move on to working out my body. And also, I just want to say that at this point now, I feel like I know what it feels like to be socially lubricated now. So the feeling that I've gotten from after working out is kind of like I can replicate that myself now. So I don't need to work out for that reason anymore. So I decide to just push it off. So yeah, the way to fix feeling sad for no reason is by working out your body and working towards your goals, which you think are actually important. But there is a situation where maybe you have goals that you're working towards and you're also working out your body, but you still don't feel so great. You still feel sad for no reason. Then what do? Well, there may be two things happening here. You might not be doing something that you actually care about. You know, like how a lot of people, like, they work jobs they don't like, but it pays good, so they just keep pushing forward, you know. That's a reasonable position to be in and a valid reason to be discouraged. And I know that I'm just a kid, you know. I don't have kids of my own, so I'm not forced into that position like I know a lot of people are. But I think that you cannot just stop trying even when you're in that situation. Even if you're in a rough spot, you cannot stop trying to make your life better. You cannot accept this position as forever. You can make it better somehow. You can make it better somehow. It might take some time and it might feel like not a lot of progress all at once sometimes, but you can get there. You can make it better. I really believe that you can do it if it's you in this position. Or if you don't have kids, but you still just don't care about what you're doing, find something else. The second thing that might be happening is that you might just be sad because you are depressed. And it's actually like the chemicals in your brain making you feel this way. And for this, I would say, well, okay, then go talk to a doctor, for real. Go talk to a doctor about this. But I do want to say that even if you are in this position where it's out of your control, are you gonna let it control your life? You know? I think that, yes, talk to a doctor, you know, get it fixed if that's your problem. I think that it's a really good thing to take accountability, even if it's not in your control, you know? Try. If you can, try. Are you really gonna let this determine who you are? Are you really gonna let this thing that's out of your control you? I know that for some people, it's really not easy, and it's really like you just cannot get out of bed. You just cannot move. And I understand that. But I still inside believe that, like, maybe they're not depressed. Maybe some of us are not depressed. Maybe we just need a better fight for us to fight. Maybe we need something that, like, shines more bright than anything else in our eyes. We need something that, like, shines so bright that we cannot rest. We cannot stay in bed, you know? And I think that a lot of people don't have anything like that. They don't have any reason why they would want to get out of bed. So why would they? But if you had something that made you want to get out of bed, then you would get out of bed, right? Because I don't think you can just escape sadness by chasing happiness. I think that you stop being sad when you make progress towards things that you actually care about. Like buying stuff for yourself. Like, yeah, it feels good. Like, wow, I have this new toy. I have this new thing that I can play with. But it feels good for like 9 seconds, and then the joy is gone, and then you just have it now, and it's like, oh, well, I'm kind of sick of it already. But when you buy something for someone else, then it's like the joy is for them, and it's like it makes you happy for longer because you see them enjoying it and them using it, you know? It's like you brought use to their lives, you brought joy to their lives, so it makes you happy longer than 9 seconds, you know? The fact is that making other people happy makes you happy, and it makes me happy, you know? And what I'm trying to say with this is it's all related, because like if you can do something that you really care about, and not just doing it for you, but doing it for your family too, trying to provide for them, trying to give to them, then that makes it worth it, you know? That's why the people stuck in situations like they have kids, but they can't quit their crap ass job because that's what's paying the bills, you know? But they still do it because it's for someone else. So even though it's not like their dream, it's not their purpose in life, it kind of is, because their purpose is providing value to their kids who they care about, who they love, you know? So if you want to stop feeling sad for no reason, find something purposeful that means something to you and work on that and make progress towards goals in that thing. If you haven't found what that thing is yet, I'll make another video about that. Let me know if I should make another video about that. Also, work out, like exercise, because a strong body is not separate from a strong mind. Be disciplined and do the hard work even if you don't feel like doing it, because it's better for you in the end, and it stops you from feeling sadness, and you'll thank yourself for it later. It just feels hard in the beginning, you know? You don't become happy just by escaping sadness. You become happy by doing the things that make you happy. And sometimes that means not even doing it for yourself, but doing it for someone else, doing it for others. And just because you feel sad right now does not mean that the whole day has to be sad. It does not have to ruin the entire day. Are you gonna let it ruin the entire day? I'm curious, like, is this making sense? Does this make sense? Are you struggling with anything yourself that maybe I missed in this video? Like, let me know. Let me know. I want to hear about you guys. Today is July 7th, 2025. That's everything I wanted to say for today. Please, guys, yeah, talk to me. I want to hear more about you. That's everything, guys. I'll talk to you later. Peace.